Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-6 et sec. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by advertising in the Star Ledger, El Nuevo Coquí, Haiti Progrès, Luz Americano newspapers, and by distribution to administrative offices of the Newark Public Schools. A copy of this meeting notice was forwarded to City Hall for posting. This is a regular advisory board meeting, Tuesday, May 25th, 2010.
We'll have our flag salute.
Please stand for the flag salute. Ready? Salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing. You may be seated. Good evening and welcome to Park Elementary. My name is Jadepska Valencia and I am the president of the Student Council here at Park Elementary.
Good evening, my name is Giselle Santiago and I am the Vice President of the Student Council here at Park Elementary. I would now like to introduce to you our strong and thoughtful leader, Mrs. Deves, who devotes all her time and passion to the students of this school.
Good evening. I'd like to welcome you to May's Advisory Board meeting here at Park Elementary. I'd like to welcome our Advisory Board Chair, Mr. Jeffries, Superintendent Dr. Janey, Ms. White, Mr. Leon, Mr. Negron, executive staff, all of the fabulous parents of the City of Newark, but especially those from Park Elementary. I'm very excited to be hosting our first Advisory Board meeting. Here at Park Elementary, in our first year of opening, we have 682 students. We service pre-K through 8th grade. Most of our students are from Hispanic and African American descent. We are very excited that in our first year, we are hosting many, many extracurricular activities. Hopefully you have enjoyed our band and orchestra perform as you were walking in. We also had, for those of you who are here a little early, a PowerPoint presentation with photo journal of all of the events that we've had here at the school this year. I am very excited and very pleased to be the principal of this school, of the fabulous community that I service. I am here with our PTO president, Maritza Ramirez. Can we give her a round of applause? And I'd like to welcome her to say a few words.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Park Elementary. We're very excited to start the PTO organization this year. As I represent all the parents in Park Elementary, we're very delighted to work with the school. Education doesn't only start in the school system, it starts with parent involvement, and we're very excited to work closely with Ms. Estevez and the staff here. Anytime that we need meetings or to schedule anything, she is always willing and able, and not only her, but her staff. So together, we will definitely make a difference in the community, and we look forward to continue to work with the school closely as we are now. And we thank Dr. Janey for allowing us to have a PTO organization in this school.
Thank you. At this time, under the leadership of our vocal music teacher, Ms. Wallace, I'd like to present to you the Park Elementary Choir. They will be performing two selections. One is Let's Make a Difference, and the other, Don't Stop the Music. Thank you very much, and have a nice evening.
I'm the one who can make the difference, yes. I will make the difference against all odds. I can live to share my love with others, yes. I will make the difference. I can make it, take my hand as we make this journey across the land. I'm the one who can make a difference, yes. I will make a difference against all odds. I can live to share my love with others, yes. I will make a difference. I will make it, take my hand as we make this journey across the land. I have the courage to keep going on. I had the faith when all hope was gone. I can make a difference. I can make a difference. I can make a difference. Yes, I can. We're the ones who can make a difference. Yes, we will make a difference against all odds. We can live to share our love with others. Yes, we will make a difference. We will make it, take our hands as we make this journey across the land. We will make a difference. We will make a difference. We will make a difference. We will make it. Take my hand. Don't stop the music. I said don't stop the music. Got to have it every day. That's why you always hear me say, don't stop the music. Big band swing or rock and roll, any group will do. Delta blues or Detroit soul, with a point of view. When I'm
quickly do the minutes.
Say I got a problem when you're just
Let's have this quick, because of the votes, this is the only piece that seems arguably it would make sense to have a Sunday school presentation. So it looks like
keep the music playing.
and then maybe have a Sunday school presentation from whoever's doing that.
Anything that's
And then do all the votes and then come back.
music is my remedy.
The rest can be out by 7.
It sets me free. Don't stop the music. I said don't stop the music. Got to have it every day. That's why you always hear me say, don't stop the music. I said don't stop. I said don't stop. I said don't stop the music. Please don't stop.
I think because we're going to lose the relish at 7. Yeah, so okay. I think whoever's doing the summer school presentation should do that. Then we should vote on that. But arguably, that should be seen before, so it looks like it's only consideration. So we vote before. Right. Then we vote afterwards. It can look like you can do it for the presentation. And then we'll do all the votes after that. Right now, no. No, she has bronchitis. So we have a quorum right now. I'm going to make adjustments to get the votes.
Okay, I'm going to call the roll now. Mr. Jeffries.
Here.
Ms. King. Mr. Lamort. Mr. Lewis.
Here.
Ms. Pintor. Mr. Rivera. Ms. Romero.
Here.
Ms. Davis Spate. Here. Ms. White.
We're going to make a couple adjustments to the order of tonight's agenda. I'd like to first move to the summer school programs presentation, which is very important. So I'll turn this over to the superintendent to make that presentation before we vote on those programs.
Thank you, Mr. Jeffries, members of the board, our parents and staff members here of Park Elementary School, and parents and staff members from other schools in the district. We're welcoming you on this special occasion. Before we go to summer school, let me just first very quickly acknowledge the parents of students and family members of students at Park Elementary School. Would you please stand, please? Parents and family members. We appreciate your support visibly here this evening for an important milestone in the history of Park Elementary School. And if staff members are here from Park Elementary School, would you also stand? Thank you for coming out. And in that context, I'd like to invite Mr. Roger Leone to come forward and begin a presentation on the rich summer school offerings that we're providing for students of the Newark Public Schools and youth of Newark as a city. Mr. Leone, who's our Deputy Chief Academic Officer.
Mr. Superintendent, before we get started, the PowerPoint slide is obviously going to block all of you. You may want to sit in the front row. And if you do so, there's a green folder as well as the summer school PowerPoint, which is at the bottom of all of the documents that you may want to bring with you.
Hold on, that's not it. I gotta put it.
Good evening, Mr. Superintendent, Mr. President, members of the advisory board, and to everyone that's in the audience. Before you is the summer school presentation for Summer Programs 2010. As of Friday of last week, all of this information is on the district's web. The brochure that I have actually here is being mailed to the houses of every single student that is in the Newark Public Schools that resides in the city of Newark during the week or so. And the brochure has everything that's on this presentation. Summer school begins July 6th to August 6th from the hours of the elementary summer program of 8:30 to 12:30. The first half hour of every day for the elementary school students is a breakfast. From 9 to 10:30 is what is called Time Warp plus Language Arts Literacy focus. From 10:30 to 12, we will focus in the area of mathematics, and from 12 to 12:30 is their lunch break. The first program that we have, back when I was a teacher here in the Newark Public Schools, we required students to go to summer school. A couple of years ago, students were given the option to go to summer school, and some students and their parents opted not to go to summer school. So what we did is we incorporated a mandatory program that focused on 3 areas: the performance of students on state assessments, the performance of students as they were doing academically during the course of this year, and their attendance. That created a pool of students. If we looked at 7th grade only in the Newark Public Schools, we had almost 1,700 students that qualified for mandatory summer school. In the elementary schools, we have a population of about 15,000 students that are not ready for the next grade. So part of the work that we did for students in grades kindergarten to 7th grade is to create this mandatory program. For students in grade 1, that means that they're entering into grade 1. We will focus on their hometown, so the entire study for 24 days will be on the city of Newark. In 2nd grade, they're studying Egypt. In 3rd grade, Rome. In 4th grade, Greece. In 5th grade, Africa. In 6th grade, China. In 7th grade, Latin America. And in 8th grade, Native America. While they are doing that, the second 90 minutes of the mandatory summer program will be to engross the students in those same respective countries, but as it relates to a math context. There are students that are in our public schools with IEPs. We have a preschool disabilities as well as a Wilson reading program that will occur during the same hours of the elementary program. We also have students that have IEPs that are required under law an extended school year program. So we have autism, auditory impairment, behavioral disabilities, learning disabilities, and students with multiple disabilities. They will go from July 6th through the required August 16th date. In the high schools, we also have students, as we are continuing their program, as noted in their IEP, in autism, auditory impairment, behavioral disabilities, and personal development. Students that English is in fact a second language will be in a program called English Plus. If they're in the high school, they're following the high school hours, and if they're in the elementary school, they are following the elementary hours. Last year, we began for the first time ever in the history of the Newark Public Schools, we hired the College Board. To those who are unaware, the College Board writes all of the national tests that students are required to complete while in high school to earn credit for college. These people train teachers that teach advanced placement courses that we offer actually in our high schools and in high schools all across the country. They train teachers during the summer, and our teachers go to colleges and universities in New Jersey, as well as college and universities throughout the country to get this type of support. Last summer, the superintendent hired the College Board to train Newark Public Schools teachers in Newark. From July 12th to July 16th, we continue that program, and all teachers that are in the advanced placement courses or in the pre-AP courses. Advanced placement courses are courses that are for students who are prepared to go to college while they are in high school. Pre-AP courses are courses to ready students for that experience. So there are teachers in grades 6 through 11 that are pre-AP teachers that are readying our students for the same. So from grades 6 through 12, from July 12th to July 16th, these teachers will be trained in Newark. Why is this important? Because during the weeks of July 19th through the 30th, the same students that were involved in this mandatory program that we are saying is required of every student who is not ready for the next grade, this mandatory program, the students will in fact be taught by the teachers that we will have trained during the week of July 12th to the 16th, giving the students that are in the mandatory program our very best. From 8:30 to 12:30, they will focus on math skills and literacy skills to ready the students that are not ready. We have yes, that is a good thing. First time ever in the Newark Public Schools, we have a gifted and talented program, because I do not necessarily know everyone that's in the audience, but we actually do have gifted and talented students in the Newark Public Schools. So this summer, it's our first time that we're doing this program. It is only for 200 students. There are 50 students that are being invited to this program from every region, and those letters went out at the start of this week as well. These students will be studying forensic science, medieval intrigues, ancient Greece, algebra, geometry, as well as clay anatomy. We have 100 students that are focusing while they're in grades 6 through 8, focusing on their careers. So we are offering career exploration opportunities for students that are interested in digital arts, culinary arts, computer installation and repair, and office systems technology. For those same students while they're in high school, we have with the City of Newark 100 students that will be receiving a check of under $1,000 each to work in our career internship program that begins this summer as well. $1,000 per student. Project Adventure. We have a number of students in the Newark Public Schools that are not in the traditional Newark Public Schools program because there are some adjustments that they need to make, and the teachers that they have in their respective schools are not necessarily helping them make that adjustment. Part of what we are going to do is make that adjustment for them. During July 6th to August 6th, Project Adventure, these are 40 students that are having difficulty during the course of the academic school year. We will hopefully work with them in an intense Project Adventure program during the course of the summer. The high schools, their hours are different while the dates are the same. July 6th to August 6th, the hours are 7:45 a.m. to 1:45 p.m. The first half hour is breakfast. Class begins at 8:15. First period, the second period begins at 10:50. And then they break for lunch at 1:25. It is extremely important that all of the parents that are in the audience who have children that are going to attend summer school, that are in the high schools only, understand that student orientation is July 2nd, where they will receive their schedules, they will receive bus tickets, they will receive any and all necessary information so that they can have a successful summer program. What does the summer school program look like? The first component is called credit recovery. We have students that have failed courses during the course of the year, and they must recover the credit in order to graduate with their class or with their class on time. The difference this summer is that we also have a program for students that allows them to recover their grade. We have athletes in our school district that have the opportunity to get an NCAA scholarship. This is to play athletics while they are in college. The NCAA uses a sliding scale criteria where if your GPA is a certain point, then your SAT scores or your ACT scores must be comparable. Our students go to private schools during the summer, and their parents pay private school fees of about between $600 to $750 so that their child can get a higher grade, because the NCAA only looks at a core number of courses, 16 of them, and they only look at the highest grade. So students can repeat classes and get the higher grade, and that's the only thing that NCAA will look at for their eligibility criteria. What we are doing this summer for the second summer is we're allowing students to attend summer school not for credit recovery, but actually for grade recovery. This will allow parents to spend $600 to $750 on something else. The accelerated program is new to the Newark Public Schools. We are in our third year of actually implementing this program. There are students that are failing and they go to summer school. Yes, that is true. But there are students that are ahead or want to get ahead. We will offer a 5-hour course every day during the hours of summer school for students in the areas of geometry, algebra 2, English 2, U.S. history, Spanish 2, and French 2. These students will be able to take these classes to graduate on time or ahead of their class. As in years past, we have afforded students an SRA opportunity. This is an opportunity during the course of the summer to actually complete the student review process so that students would receive an alternate means of getting a high school diploma. That is behind us, even though you will hear a little bit more about this a little on in the presentation as the meeting continues. This program is available to students that are eligible only if they are able to graduate in August. We will focus on the AHSA, which is the Alternative High School Assessment that the students are required to complete. We will focus on that early on in July. They take the test in middle of July to August, and hopefully they return with a diploma in hand. While that completes the academic component, I must share with you that the rest of the presentation has academic components as well. This is the Summer Arts Festival. We have not had this at all in the Newark Public Schools. While there is a mandatory program for students to attend summer school because they are academically not ready, there are students that need for us to do something more than remediate for them. So we have the Summer Arts Festival for students in grades 3 through 8 in music theater. So these students are talented and have demonstrated their genius in music, in art, in dance, in drama. We will focus on them from 8:30 to 12:30 every day from July 6th to August 6th. This is also true for students in the high schools. We actually have high school students who do not have to go to summer school because they are behind. They are requiring a program to help tap their genius so that they can move ahead. So we have this all-city ensemble for band, for strings, for choir, for dance, and a focus in studio art. A couple of years ago, we had a summer sports camp in our schools, in our summer school programs, and for some reason that stopped. Well, while we will always try to do things better in the future, there are some things in the past that we are going to continue. In elementary grades, we have a swimming program, a tennis program, a hockey program, a lacrosse program, a boys and girls basketball camp, a soccer camp, and a football camp. Also, we have for the high school students, cheerleading and soccer. We will focus on wrestling and tennis. We will have volleyball and softball. And it's extremely important that everyone is aware that while our students will be engaged in athletics during the summer as well, that we will focus on our student leaders and provide our team captains with team leadership skills so that they can return in September or in August with their teammates and be the leaders that we know they can be. The Summer Youth Development Program is a partnership with the Newark Public Schools and the City of Newark, where we have a number of 54 sites open to students and residents of the City of Newark from July 6th to August 13th, from the hours of 12:30 to 7. What everyone needs to be aware is that while these incredible summer sports camps are being offered during the day as well as in the evening, if you are required to be in the mandatory program, you cannot participate in any of these programs that are afforded during the course of the day. On August 6th, the students that are in the Summer Arts Festival program, they will do a performance for all of the students that had to attend summer school, so that everyone can see if you actually get it right during the course of the school academic year, you'll be able to celebrate with incredible fun activities during the summer. If there is anyone in the audience that does not have a student that attends the Newark Public Schools, but is a resident of the city of Newark, and your child is in a private and parochial school, then you should contact the Office of Guidance, because during the weeks of June 14th to June 17th, that is the window that students who do not attend the Newark Public Schools have to register for any and all of the programs that I have just mentioned. It is extremely important that everyone is also aware that the Archdiocese of Newark received a letter from me about a month and a half ago with regards to the June 14th to the June 17th window, as well as every single charter school in Newark. The window is June 14th to 17th. All of our students that are entering grade 9 in our high schools will be required to attend the Summer Bridge program. These are at designated dates at every single one of our high schools in Newark. August orientation occurs for our students upon their return back to school, while school begins in September on August 26th. All seniors are required to return back to their high schools so that they can pick up their schedules, so that they can pick up and received IDs, so that they can get information about the new incredible programs that their principals will be offering them and the Newark Public Schools for this coming academic year. On August 27th, all juniors are required to return. On August 30th, all sophomores, and on August 31st, all freshmen will be required to return to their new school so that they can ready themselves for September while it is August. And Mr. Superintendent, that concludes the summer school information for 2010.
Before we proceed to vote on the summer program, does any board member have any questions for Mr. Leon? Mr. Lewis?
Mr. Leon, was any of this information provided for the public as they came in with the locations where these programs will be held at?
Hello. All of the information that you indicated, as I shared on Friday, is on the web. There are flyers with phone numbers to every single one of the persons responsible out of our Office of Academic Services, so that anyone who has a question with regards to location, programs, they will be able to ask that question. These same flyers on Thursday of last week were distributed to every single school in the Newark Public Schools. So that should be posted somewhere in the main office area, so that if anyone has a question and they're unaware of this information, that they can actually access it. Our communications director has flyers that are actually outside that has all of the information that is before you.
Ms. Spate?
Good afternoon. Good evening. I'm not sure if you made the parents aware that the summer school programs and the recreation site will be in the same building, because some parents wasn't aware that the summer program and the recreation part would be in the same building.
That is an excellent question, and I know that you raised it at the business meeting past, and I'm glad that you raised it again. While the summer school sites are not at every elementary school for the elementary programs, and while every elementary program, as well as every secondary school that has a summer youth development site does not have the program, the list does in fact show that if you're at an elementary school, if in fact that school has the summer youth development program or not. For example, students that are assigned to Wilson Avenue School would be able to go to the summer school site at Hawkins Street, or they would be able to go to the summer school youth development program, either that is at their school or at a school that's closer to where they are. So the parents have that type of leeway in actually registering them for the second part of the program. In every single one of the sites, like the example I gave you, if you're a student at Hawkins Street School required to go to a program at Hawkins Street School also has the summer youth development program, so that the students would go from 12 to 12:30 eating their lunch. At 12:30 they can start the summer youth development program, and the parents won't have to take them all around the city for that.
Okay, and I'm not sure if you mentioned in reference to the credit recovery or the accelerated program, the high school students, are the parents aware that if the children are not mandated, that they still are able to take their children to the, bring them to summer school so that they can do better with their grades? So I'm not sure how we can get the message out there to the high school students to have them to attend some of these programs so that, you know, they can go to the next level.
Yeah, one of the things that we definitely need to do better is when our students are registering for the summer programs is to A, make sure that the parents are aware of it, B, make sure that the parents as well as the students are aware of the other opportunities. For a couple of years, and I hope that it doesn't take years to undo this, the mentality and the mindset was that you can choose to go to summer school or you had to go to summer school because you failed. We want to bridge the two. We want to say students that aren't doing well, we have a program for you. Students that are doing well, we also have a program for you.
All right, thank you.
And I think that's a very important principle, and I really want to commend the superintendent and his team, because it's very important to reorient summer school from not simply an opportunity for kids who need to catch up to do so, and that's a very important purpose, but also to say for our kids who are either on grade level or even above grade level, we want to take you into another level, and we want to prepare you not simply for high school, we want to prepare you for college and beyond. And I really think we should commend the superintendent. I think the AP opportunity is tremendous, so that our kids can get college credit while they're still in high school, so that when they get to college, they're at a higher level. I think the accelerated programs intervening at younger ages are very important, so our kids can be ready to fly when they hit high school and beyond. And I think the effort to beef up summer school so it's not simply a catch-up opportunity, but for an opportunity for our kids to go to the next level is tremendous. So I really wanted to personally express that. Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Leon or the superintendent before we proceed to a vote on the summer programs? Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second? We'll go to the roll.
Mr. Jeffries?
Yes.
Ms. King? Yes. Mr. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Romero?
Yes.
Ms. Davis-Spate?
Yes.
Thank you. What I would like to do now is proceed to the other items in our educational and finance packet. Are there any specific items in either the educational services packet of materials that we have, which would be the in-state, out-of-state field trips, or in the finance packet that any board member has any questions about?
And also,
Okay, I'll come back. Should have did that. Any questions? Do we have a motion to vote on the in-state, out-of-state field trip resolution, as well as all the items in the finance package as a group,
And legal?
as well as the one legal item as well, the equity plan statement of assurance?
Do I
Do we
hear
have
a
a
motion?
motion? Okay. Vice Chair King, do we have a second? Ms. Spate? Call the roll.
Mr. Jeffries?
Yes.
Ms. King? Mr. Lewis?
Since I didn't get a chance to read over, I want to abstain.
You're going to abstain? Ms. Romero? Yes. Ms. Davis Spate?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. We'll go to the approval of the minutes of the April 27th reorganization meeting. Any questions any board member has about those meetings? Any clarifications?
Motion?
Do we have a motion?
Ms. Davis Spate?
Do we have a second? Ms. Romero? All in favor? All in favor? We can do this by voice.
Okay.
All in favor? Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? Mr. Lewis? Okay, we will now backtrack to the report of Superintendent Janey.
Thank you, Mr. Jeffries. I'm going to continue by making an adjustment in my report and go to some acknowledgments of great significance for this evening and in the history of Newark. Would Dr. Brown join me on the acknowledgment of Student Star Ledger Award scholarship winners, two of whom I understand are performing this evening. One is a dancer and the other is a thespian, right?
Correct.
But I think his mother just came in. So would you have any of the parents and certainly the students surround you as you give recognition to their accomplishments as Star Ledger scholarship winners for the academic year 2009-2010?
Thank you, Dr. Janey, and to the rest of the board members and to parents and friends. It gives me great pleasure to introduce to you, even in their absence, because as Dr. Janey indicated, they are doing what they won the Star Ledger scholarships for, which is performing. The first person who won a $40,000 scholarship is Shamsuddin Abdul Hamid, and Sham had two engagements today. He was in Princeton because he has a play that is being produced at the McCarter Theater, and then he left immediately after that to travel with Mayor Booker to Washington. But his mother is here, so please give her a round of applause.
And Dr. Brown, this is Arts High School, correct?
This is definitely Arts High School.
Okay. And the amount was $40,000?
$40,000. Sham is a senior and drama major. He's active in the community. He's a member of Mayor Cory Booker's Newark Youth Connection Council. He's the 2010 New Jersey State Champion for the Poetry Out Loud competition, and he competed against 17,000 students and won that title. Sham was accepted at Morehouse, Carnegie Mellon, and North Carolina School of the Arts, but he chose Mason Gross School of the Arts at Rutgers University, where he plans to earn a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Acting. Recently, he and his teacher were notified by Tony Award-winning McCarter Theater in Princeton that his play would be performed there during the spring season, and that's where he was the first part of the day. So please join me in congratulating Sham and his mom, Shamsuddin Abdul Hamid. And unlike Sham, she doesn't want to say anything.
Thank you.
Okay. Congratulations, Sham. $40,000 to pursue his college dreams. The next person who won is also not here because he's performing tonight. His name is Justin Rivera, and he won a $20,000 Star Ledger scholarship. Justin is a senior dance major, and representing him tonight is one of his dance teachers, Mr. Carney. He plans to attend New York University's Tisch School of the Arts, and he was also accepted at Fordham University, Alvin Ailey School of Dance, and the State University of New York in Purchase, New York. Justin is a member of the New Jersey Dance Theater Ensemble, and he has been invited to attend and perform in the Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, with the Arts Umbrella Dance Company. So they're well on their way, and they're already performing. Congratulations, Justin and Mr. Carney.
Thank you. I'm not exactly sure what to say. I'm just very proud of Justin Rivera and all my students in the dance department. One of the things that I would love to say about Justin is that he found his own artistic voice and over the years became one of the creative forces in the dance department. And this summer he's going to be one of the student collaborators with the Movement Invention Project in New York City as one of the youth choreographers.
Congratulations. And our last Star Ledger winner is Marcelo Leo, who was to be here tonight, but he texted us that his mom was ill, so he could not make it. But he's a vocal major. He performs locally, regionally, nationally for the Boys and Girls Club of America. He has been accepted to New Jersey City University, where he plans to pursue studies in vocal performance. So congratulations to Marcelo in his absence. And I have my parent liaison who will accept for him, Ms. Jordan.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for the recognition, and thank you for the certificates of award recognizing their artistic achievement.
Thank you very much, and we're very proud of the legacy that continues at Arts High School. And, pardon? Oh, yes, Mr. Lewis. I'd like to go now to some recent history whereby at the Robert Treat, I still call it Robert Treat Hotel, we had our 24th anniversary of the Citywide Parent Conference, and our keynote speaker was the daughter of Malcolm X, the ambassador. And we had also a native Newarker whose presence has been felt for over 2 or 3 decades here in Newark. And I'd like Ms. Munn to come up and just briefly give a synopsis of the parent conference. She's a great-grandmother of, I think, 15 and a grandmother of 16, and 6 of whom attend Weequahic High School, 6 grandchildren at Weequahic. Is that
Thank you, Dr.
roughly
Janey.
correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you did. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Janey and the advisory board and all the educators in the room, all the students, parents. My name is Carrie Munn, and I served as chairperson with Ms. Evelyn Martinez for the year's conference that was attended by approximately 525 parents at the Robert Treat Hotel on May 14th. This will serve as an opportunity for our parents district-wide to get together, to know each other. This year's great speaker was Ambassador Attila Shabazz, provided us an inspirational message to all parents. She shared her family's history, including growing up as the daughter of Malcolm X Shabazz. Overall, the parents enjoyed her delivery and frankness. There were 13 workshops presented this year with a variety of topics, including the Title I Unified Plan Overview, homeless prevention, internet safety, security, positive behavior support, building parental involvement at your school, and critical links in school, home, and community. The afternoon speaker was Mr. Roger Leon, and he shared critical information with parents regarding new graduation requirements, We all listened attentively and are now knowledgeable of the upcoming requirements. In addition to the conference this year was the establishment of the Community Service Award that will become an annual award. Recipient Randy Foy, an Eastside High School graduate and currently NBA player with the Washington Wizards, gave a humble account of his upbringing in Newark and how the community helped raise him. Each year, there are a number of vendors on hand to provide valuable information regarding community events. Representatives this year included the Historical Society, Office of Extended School Day, and Scholastic Books. And I know you all enjoyed the Avon Avenue School, a beautiful little girl. She was about 13, did a wonderful job that afternoon, the jazz band. It was also a pleasure to see our talented young people perform, because so many times we talk about negative and not enough positive to our youth. The general feedback was the conference was very successful, and I'm looking forward to working with next year's committee as we celebrate a milestone of our 25th parent conference. Also, parents, I would like to share a little information on the PTA. We have several thousand children here in the city of Newark, and over time we did not know about PTA. We were not allowed to be a part of the PTA. We were called the NCCPT, National Congress of Colored Parents and Teachers. How this got started was a lady named Selena Sloan Butler. She started a daycare in her home in Mississippi back in the 1800s because there was not a preschool for black children during that time. And I wanted all of you to know that PTA is not a place where you just come and sit and talk about the books. You come to support. PTA does a lot of things in our community, such as signals they started the lunch programs in our school. A lot of you don't know that. So please take a moment and come to your child's school and participate in the PTA. Thank you.
The last acknowledgement before we go to Mr. Leone once again is for the Branch Brook School. And that school won a national award issued by the National Center for Urban School Transformation. There were over 49 schools competitively reviewed, and this school, among some others, stood out and was invited to share their practices along with others at a national conference, and certainly back here in Newark. So would Mr. Cullen come forward and share briefly with the public how Branch Brook became deserving of such an award?
On behalf of the Branch Brook School community, I just wanted to thank the advisory board and also Dr. Janey, Ms. White, Mr. Leone, and Mr. Negron for all their support, encouragement, and leadership. I had an opportunity to go out to California to represent Newark Public Schools and Branch Brook School, and there were schools from all around the country who were participating in the different breakout sessions, and they were really, really impressed with what Branch Brook School does on a daily basis, which is just great teaching, outstanding learning, high expectations for all of our students. And at this time, I want the Branch Brook School community to please stand. We have teachers, staff, parents, students, please stand. When Dr. Johnson from the organization came out to our school for the site visit, he stayed the entire day, and I think the thing that stood out the most was he said you have an outstanding team that accomplishes, and that's very, very true. In addition to that, I would say some of the highlights of our school, again, are the very, very high test scores. For the past several years, all of our students in general ed, special ed, and ELL have been proficient or advanced proficient on the state test. And I'm just very, very proud to serve as principal of the school. So once again, I want to thank everyone.
Mr. Leone. Are you going to PowerPoint?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
The green folders, ladies and gentlemen. The green folder.
Which one?
The one we were working on.
One we were working on. They shut the monitor. They shut it off. Are you kidding me? They shut the projector off.
We're just waiting to have them turn on the projector. Mr. Superintendent, last week, online, all of the high schools in New Jersey were able to access the performance of individual student results as it related to the high school proficiency administration that occurred this March. And although the data is not official, we did want to present some of the preliminary data to you. The high school proficiency assessment is the state assessment. It is the one of the two state-established criterias for receiving a state-endorsed diploma here in the state of New Jersey. For this class of 2010, the one requirement is 110 credits, and the second requirement is demonstrating proficiency on the high school proficiency assessment in the areas of language, arts, literacy, and mathematics. In 2009, our total students averaged in the area of language, arts, literacy 54.6% proficiency, and in mathematics 42.5%. This year, we demonstrated a 4% increase in the area of language, arts, literacy to 58.8% and 46.4% respectively in the area of math. A 4 percentage point increase is potentially statistically significant. In the area of language, arts, literacy, as it relates, we have 13 high schools. There were 10 that did better than last year's performance, 3 that did poorer than what they did last year, those 3 high schools being Academy of Vocational Careers, Central High School, and Science Park High School. As it relates to the areas of mathematics, there are 13 high schools, 9 of them did better than they did last year. 4 did a poorer performance, and those 4 were Academy of Vocational Careers, Barringer High School, Central High School, and Malcolm X Shabazz High School. It is also important to note, sir, that there was one high school in the city of Newark that actually every single student, 100% of the total junior class, because this state test is administered once in the academic history of a student's career, and that one time is during their junior year in high school, 100%, and that high school was Technology High School. It is important to also know that the way that the state does this cohort, they compare a class against another class. This is their comparison to the class of 2009. They did 10.5 percentage points better. Superintendent was interested in looking at how were our comprehensive high schools doing in comparison to the really stellar performance that the magnet high schools demonstrated during the course of this year. And it's important for you to know that there is one high school in the area of mathematics. While 51.9% is nothing to be proud about, it is extremely important for you to be aware that this high school, this comprehensive high school, did score 51.9% in the area of mathematics of the total students that tested this March, and that high school was the Red Raiders of Eastside High School. Now, anyone sitting in the audience might make the statement later that 50% of your students passing is nothing to hold your hat on. I would agree. It is extremely important for you to be aware that we are comparing this school to itself, and in comparison to what the students did last year, this class did 7.3% higher. It's extremely important for you to understand that a 4 percentage point difference up is potentially statistically significant. In 2009, this high school scored 35.1% and 22.9% in the areas of language arts, literacy, and math. This year, that same school performed 45.2% in the area of language arts, literacy, and 34.2% in the area of math. While we know that that's nothing to be proud about, please know that the increase of 10.1% in the area of language arts literacy and 11.3% in the area of mathematics is potentially statistically significant, to say the least, and this high school was Rough Riders, ladies and gentlemen, West Side High School. The purpose of this presentation, yes, that is something to be proud about. The increase must always be there, and the increase by less than 4 is unacceptable. Here's why we're here. The seniors that are in our high schools right now, the class of 2010, comprises a total of 2,633 students. That test that I just talked about that the juniors took, well, there are 1,863 students that either passed it or were exempt from passing that test. There are 770 students that failed the test. Please understand that in that 770, we have new students to the Newark Public Schools that never took the test the first time. So in that 770, there are a host of students. You might see that that 770 is in red, and there's a number to the right of it in purple. 153 students have not sat for these tests at all. In order to get a state-endorsed high school diploma, you need 110 credits in this class, and you have to pass the state test. The state test is the high school proficiency assessment. Its alternative is the alternative high school assessment. 770 students will not be earning a diploma this year. Here's the historical timeline on these students. The state test is always administered March of their junior year. So these students took the test, those who were enrolled in the Newark Public Schools, on March 3rd to March 5th. During the course of the summer, we had a process called the Student Review Assessment. This SRA process ended in the summer. We had over 200 students that completed that process, and those 200 students were grandfathered in as the state of New Jersey was creating the alternative high school assessment, which began window 1 in January. In October, those same students that did not pass, or the first-time test takers, had an opportunity to take the second administration of the HESPA. Those students who did not pass that test had the third opportunity to take the test in March of this year. In January was a first window. The first window was called the Alternative High School Assessment. This is an alternative to the HSPA. Those results arrived about a week ago. Those results were rescored as ordered by the New Jersey Department of Education, and we did receive those results. Of the remaining students, the final window that we have is summer of 2010. On April 12th through the 30th, we were afforded the second window to take this test now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. The results of that data arrives next week on the 2nd of June. The superintendent, through a resolution that was crafted on the 13th of this month, indicated a couple of recommendations that we were providing the State Department of Education. One of them is to afford students who did not pass one section of the 4 parts of the test with an opportunity to sit in June. Ladies and gentlemen, everyone needs to be very aware that there are students that have been admitted to college who won't be able to attend the college because they have not graduated from high school. In order to graduate from high school in this state, you must get 110 credits and you must pass the state test. Their final window, if the state does not agree to the June window, is summer 2010. There is an appeals process for the alternative high school assessment. Here it is. In addition to the individual student report, which is a report that every parent should get at the end of every academic year to demonstrate the performance of their child on the state test that was administered. In the elementary schools, we don't get the data until August, which means we cannot give parents that information until the school year starts in September. However, that's not true in the high schools. We get that data in we get that data in May, officially in early June, so that the parents can actually have that in hand before the summer break. The appeal process consists of 4 points. The first is that the students have to actually complete and sit for the test, and then scores on any standardized test demonstrating literacy or mathematics last year or for the 2 years prior. Work of excellence in English or mathematics that has been accomplished during the last 6 months. Description of proficiency practice in the workplace, and teacher or administrator description of extenuating individual student circumstances. If you look at NJDOE's web, they have given all high schools in New Jersey, because there are about 10,000 students who have not done well on this assessment, who have gone through the alternative assessment, only 10% passing in language arts literacy, only 30% passing in the area of mathematics. And even though we know that the data in Newark isn't great, the fact that other school districts like Livingston and Milburn are not having their students doing well is not of concern to us when we are working extremely hard to have our students compete against the very, very brightest, not only in New Jersey, but in the world. How did we get into this mess? We focus on a state assessment. So the state writes a test. School districts across New Jersey create curriculum that are approved by their boards and obviously equal to, as our CAO has clearly delineated, with New Jersey's core curriculum content standards. Then we look at instruction, best practices, research-based best practices, and we implement them with fidelity so that when the state gives us the HESPA, or the state gives us the New Jersey Ask, or the state gives us test X, Y, Z, as long as it's focused in the curriculum that has been adopted and focused on the instruction of the practices, it doesn't matter that they create an end-of-course biology exam, or if they create an end-of-course algebra exam. In the instances that we have before us, because the state is doing away with the high school proficiency assessments, which students are not passing, and creating more difficult exams. Part of the work in the Newark Public Schools is to focus instruction on research, create curriculum that's worthy of being replicated in every classroom, and not worry about the tests, because we will have students accomplishing greater tasks than a minimum basic skills test. And how can this be done? The Newark Public Schools has a strategic plan. In it, it focuses between the years of 2009 and 2013, and it has a number of priorities. These are the achievement goals. Students ready to learn by kindergarten, students reading and writing at grade level by the end of the 3rd grade, students ready for the middle grades, students ready for high school, and students ready for college or work. We have a lot of work before us in the Newark Public Schools. The CAO and I will be the first to attest to that fact. If we focus on some of the incredible summer programs that we have, begin to change the curriculum that's old, begin to provide things which are new, and begin to make the necessary changes, we will be able to see some of the celebrating scores of schools that perform way above that which has been recognized this evening. And Mr. Superintendent, that brings a close to the information you requested with regards to the high school proficiency assessment and its alternative.
Thank you, Mr. Leon, for that presentation. Also want to emphasize, I think it's important for the public to understand, and maybe Mr. Leon may want to speak to this as well, is that the state gave us a very short timeline, right? So as Mr. Leon talked about, we got results back last week, believe it or not, from the January window. That's right, Mr. Leon, right?
The January test results were returned to the schools in April.
Okay.
And what actually occurred, the state ordered a rescoring of those January tests. And about a week ago or so, the information went online and, in fact, shared specifically with our superintendent.
Right. So that's 4 months, right? So our kids take a test in January. We get results that are final a week ago. And we obviously have graduation coming up in the next few weeks. So the state put us in a very difficult spot. And then, as Mr. Leon talked about, the results from the I guess that's the March administration of the HESP, is that right? I want to make sure I'm understanding this right. So the results of the March administration come back June 2nd? The
results of the March administration were actually received in our schools last week.
Okay.
Online.
So it's the ASA second window, that's June 2nd.
The ASA second window is next week.
Okay. So the bottom line, and the appeals window closes June 7th, I think, is that right?
The appeals window closes June 7th, that's
Right.
correct. They just, they were supposed to be, have this information online last Friday. We did receive it in hand prior to it being online on the state's NJDOE website, and we shared it with our principals as soon as we had it in hand.
Right.
But the window ends June 7th.
So we'll get results on June 2nd, we have to then submit appeals for our children by June 7th. That's about 3 business days. And so what the superintendent and I are going to do is we're writing a joint letter to DOE to express our frustration with this, and more important than that, to express the fact that part of the appeal should consider the fact that children already have college acceptances. And the appeals criteria that came out do not speak to that and do not account for the extent to which kids have college acceptances as a part of the extent to which they've demonstrated they have the proficiency to obtain their diploma. I'd also like for either the superintendent or Mr. Leone to speak to the fact that we're going to post data for the community to understand the number of kids affected by this starting the end of this week. And on a rolling basis, we're going to keep posted on our website the universe of children affected based on the first set of results that we've gotten, and then also after June 2nd when we get the second window, so that there can be transparency from the district to the people about the universe of children affected by this so that the community understands what we're doing.
Thank you, Chair Jeffries. I want to emphasize a couple of points that our chair made. We think it's very unfair for our students who've been already accepted to college, who had, in fact, to write a sample application. That is, when you apply, as you know, it isn't just where you live and who you are, but you have to demonstrate some level of proficiency in writing in the application process itself to college. And we think our students who've already done that and already been accepted to college ought to have some timely consideration by the state. If it's 1 student, if it's 100, if it's 200, the number matters, but it matters more that we know that the state will make that happen, because we have jointly agreed that we're going to make an appeal, particularly, but not only, but particularly to those students who've already been accepted to college. Some of those students, as you know, are expected to attend a summer program sponsored by that particular college. Those commitments have already been made. Money's been put forward by families. It is a burden that should not be on the families of students who are in the Newark Public Schools or any other jurisdiction in Jersey. That's more than my belief, but our commitment together that we will continue to put the kind of leverage that's necessary to make sure we get a fair hearing on this matter. We've held some meetings. There were some meetings held in the last couple of weeks, one sponsored by the school district and one sponsored by the Secondary Parent Council. And I'm not sure if those meetings provided the kind of acknowledgement of the concerns that are real and legitimate here in Newark. But going forward, we have to relieve ourselves of this dilemma by working with one another to make sure all of our students are going to be demonstrating the level of proficiency that will go well beyond the current high school proficiency examination that's currently a standard for graduation, or the alternative assessment. They will be in end-of-the-course exams, and as Mr. Leone pointed out, they will depend upon your presence, your preparation, and your participation in those particular subject areas. I've been in touch with the Commissioner's office over the last 2 days in particular on this very subject. I should hear from them tomorrow about whether they will be considerate of an exception for students who've already been accepted to college and are college-bound. Part of the scholarship opportunities, part of the admissions expectation is for them to participate, as I mentioned before, in some kind of summer experience. They would not be able to do so because they're not formally a graduate of a particular high school yet in Newark until they receive that diploma. So the timing of our actions are very important. The timing of the actions of the state is very important as well. And Chair Jeffries and I will be in touch with one another on a daily basis as we lead up to June 7th.
Right. And we want to emphasize, too, that even though we're only going to have a few business days between June 2nd and June 7th, every last appeal for every kid who's eligible will be submitted so we can try to get children their diploma before graduation. So even though the state puts us in this spot, we're going to do everything we can to take care of our children. Do we have any questions from board members? Mr. Lewis?
I just want to say on Friday night, I had the privilege to attend the secondary parent council meeting concerning this issue. And my personal feelings about this, I think that this administration, not the state administration, I believe what they have did, they dropped the ball, and they won't admit that they made a mistake. And if it was me, if I was the commissioner, I would just say, you know, we made a mistake, let the kids graduate, we'll pick up the ball next year. But I believe that this is unfair, that our children who've been accepted to Morehouse and Harvard and Spelman and all these great colleges are now worrying about their future. And I don't agree what the state is doing. I believe what they're doing is playing with these children's lives, and that's a problem for me.
Thank you. Any more questions for the superintendent or Mr. Leon? Okay, thank you, Mr. Leon.
Thank you.
Superintendent Janey, you have anything else in your report?
Chair Jeffries, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Dr. Janey. We will now move to parent recognition, so I'll turn this over to Vice Chair Barbara King.
Dr. Janey, Chairperson Jeffrey, and board members, to Park Avenue School administration, and most importantly, the parents and the students, good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
As we know, just sort of piggybacking on this whole thing, what's going on, the district is coming a long way, and we have a long way to go. And we know we have to continuously fight for our children. Not just saying it, but we have to do it. We know that the parents are the children's first teacher, but it is the community coming together, the administration, business, everyone coming together to make this work. What affects a child in the Central Ward affects a child in the North, the East, the South, and the West. They're all our children. So I just have to, before I go into the parents' recognition, I have to agree that what the state did is bad enough that we have these cuts. But now, our children have to worry about they may not be able to go to the college. We have to fight on their behalf. And in saying that, if Mr. Lewis, would you be so kind to give this to the parents as I call them all? The Newark Public School Advisory Board Community Relations Committee wishes to recognize parents who are making a difference in the lives of our students as individuals and in our district as a whole. With approximately 40,000 students in the Newark Public Schools, there must be many, many exemplary parents. This parent recognition program, which began in 2004, will continue to shine the spotlight on those who support the district's 6-point parental involvement model, which consists of parenting, communicating, volunteering, learning at home, decision-making, and community involvement. We are pleased to recognize one parent from each region at each advisory board meeting this year. The parents were nominated by their children's principal. Tonight's Parents Recognition Award recipients are, from the East and Central Region, Diana Vargas from Lafayette Street School. From the South Region, Sherry Mitchell, Arts High School. From the West Region, Tania Goldsmith from 15th Avenue School. And from the North Region, Virgin Ortiz, Roberto Clemente School. Congratulations to all of you. Also, we want to recognize Sister Deborah Humphreys from the Family Development Program. Could she come up? We appreciate your presentation at the business meeting. Come up also. We want to recognize them. Excuse me. Jeffrey. Should she say a few words? Jessica. She already did it to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. King. We'll move now to the report of the student representative.
Good evening, Dr. Janey, Ms. White, advisory board members, and the community. I'm pleased to announce tonight a change in our policy or the way we will run for the student representative in the district. We have established, with the approval of the superintendent and Ms. White, our chief academic officer, we have created an application process for the student representative. In the past, students were elected by a body of students, and we're now changing the system. And so an application will be going out to the principals and head guidance counselors in the next few days, and they will be applying for this job, for this position. We want to ensure that the person who's here next year is qualified and deserves of this position. And so that's why we've created an application. That's round 1, and round 2 is an actual interview process that the student will have to participate in. And so that's a shift that we have done from the past practice, and we hope that that will make sure that the student here is a student who deserves to be up here. And so that's in the future, and all high school principals and head guidance counselors will be receiving the new applications in the days to come. Thank you.
I'm going to move the chair's report up because I just want to say a couple things for the benefit of the public. One is that so folks understand, when we have our public participation at the board meetings, what we're going to do is any issues that are raised by the community that are legitimate and that affect large numbers of people, we're going to post on the district's website how the district has responded to that, so that people can understand, how we're addressing legitimate concerns, because we want folks to understand that when we hear concerns at these meetings, we take them very seriously, and they're responded to in a timely way. Also wanted people to understand that the committees of the board have been reorganized, and we're also going to post on the website the board members who are chairs of various committees. So to the extent that members of the public have concerns that hit one particular substantive area, they can have a sense for the board members who are working in those areas so they can engage those board members. And we'll put that on the website as well. We will now move to the public participation portion of our meeting. Before we go down the roll, I do want to say that we received a statement from a variety of different organizations in our community, from the NAACP, from the Education Law Center, from the Secondary Parent Council, from the Save Our Children Coalition, expressing a series of concerns about the alternative high school assessment. That statement will be included with the record and the minutes of these proceedings. The superintendent, the district led by the superintendent will meet with leadership from that organization, including Ms. Wilhelmina Holder, to make sure that she did that. They did that already. Yeah. The district leadership will be sitting down with leaders of that organization as well as other members of the community to make sure that we're continuing to be on the same page with the community about how the district is responding to the fallout of the alternative high school assessment. The superintendent, Mr. Leon, just explained how we're going about dealing with that, both in terms of challenging the way in which the state has set up this process, but also working with the hand we've dealt and trying to get as many kids their diploma through this appeals process on June 7th. The statement we received from the coalition of organizations also expresses many of these same concerns and wants to emphasize that children who have obtained a college admission, that those kids should be exempted and should essentially receive their diploma automatically, which is consistent with where we're trying to go in the joint letter the superintendent and I will write in terms of saying that kids who have college admission should receive special consideration in the appeals process and should obviously get their diploma ASAP and obviously before graduation in late June. So with that said, that statement will be incorporated into the minutes of these proceedings. We will go forward with public participation.
Okay, this is the part of the evening where the public has the opportunity to speak. We'd ask that you come forward if your name is called. Give us your name and address. An individual may address the advisory board for no more than 3 minutes. 5 minutes is allotted if you represent an organization, although only one representative of an organization may speak. Time limits for all speakers will be enforced. Speakers must be present when their name is called, and I'd just like to remind folks that the superintendent or the chairperson may interrupt or terminate any individual's speaking privilege if the speaker's comments are excessively loud, disruptive, obscene, or a violation of applicable law. And furthermore, folks should be cautioned that a personally directed statement may be slanderous and defaming, and the individual may be liable for their statements. Finally, I'd like to remind folks that there are children in the audience, and please keep that in mind as you speak. Diamond Jones. Diamond here? Janiyah Jones? Iman Brown? Donald Jackson?
Good evening. My name is Donald Jackson. I live at 79 Tracy Avenue, Newark, New Jersey, 07108. Laying off nearly 1,000 staff members throughout Newark Public Schools at this point in time does not seem like a solution. With the new graduation requirements that are now coming down from Newark Public Schools in the state of New Jersey, laying off math teachers, science teachers, history teachers, English teachers seems barbaric. Getting rid of our head guidance counselors and our SAT coordinator positions, eliminating them completely also sounds barbaric. Eliminating our social workers sounds barbaric. With the climate of issues and situations that we have here in Newark Public Schools, these people who are key at fighting and defending our students do not need to be let go and our students hurting. Our SAT coordinators who help our students who have drug problems, who need counseling, and who need referrals to rehab places, this position is yet needed in our schools. I received information about our credit system, and it will be changed next year for the Newark Public High School students. From my understanding, 5 credits will be taken away from English 1 and 10 credits will be taken away from geometry. I need a better clearing understanding of that. What would our new credit score be for next year? I understand that we are moving the credit graduation requirements to 130. Point of clarification, the ASA is not Newark Public School fault. Our dear state decided that it was best for us to contract our test out to a company all the way in North Carolina, and now it has created a big mess, not only in Newark, but throughout the state of New Jersey. I believe only 10% pass English and only 35% pass math. That is unbelievable right here in the state of New Jersey. And parents, members of this community, need to get down to Trenton and find out what they're gonna do, because the state created a big mess with this. And in closing, to all the board members and to the superintendent, this district is in total chaos. People don't know what will happen from one minute to the next. One minute you hear you're staying here, one minute you hear that you're not working here no more, next minute you hear you're not working in Newark Public Schools, period. The pandemonium that has been caused has now yet again hit the classroom and caused people to lose total capacity and confidence. There you go, confidence. People don't feel like working anymore. Now this is the problem.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. Thank you. Time is up. Time is up. We have a packed agenda. Mr. Jackson. Time is up, Mr. Jackson. Mr. Jackson, we have a long list of people who've signed up. We need to respect their time. Your concerns are very legitimate and very valid. I actually would like the superintendent to say a quick word about what the district is doing to deal with the fallout with respect to the cuts with the SAC. So if we can hear a quick word from the superintendent, because the district is working to make sure that we have coverage for that. So I would like a quick word from the superintendent on that.
Yes, it won't be the same coverage as we've been able to have in years past, but we are planning for a restoration of certain positions should there not be an acceptance of the governor's budget by the legislature. And we will include in that a way by which we can restore some of the positions. We haven't determined that yet.
Okay, Mr. Jackson, thank you very much. We need to go to our next speaker. Mr. Jackson, you need to respect the process. Mr. Jackson, can you please take a seat, Mr. Jackson? I'm going to call security in a second, Mr. Jackson. Please take a seat. Respect the other speakers. I do want to say this. The bottom line is when you have a $77 million gap, there's consequences to that, right? Okay, we had a $77 million gap. The district had to make some tough choices, and that was part of it. But as the superintendent said, the district is working to provide coverage. Next speaker.
Najia Armstrong.
Dear members of the advisory board, my name is Najia Armstrong. I live at 145 Ivy Street, and I am currently an 8th grade student at Camden Middle School. I am here tonight to express my opinion and share my experiences about the SAC in my school. I feel the Newark Public Schools student assistant coordinator positions should not be eliminated. Thus, I have several reasons to support my point of view. To begin, Ms. Johnson, a student assistant coordinator, means so much to me. Ms. Johnson has helped me in many ways. It's as if she was an angel sent from heaven. Ever since I came to Camden Middle, Ms. Johnson took me under her wing and cared for me as if I was her own. Ms. Johnson provided me with the privileges of being in her advisory group and the Dream Leader program. I enjoyed both programs and was able to utilize my leadership qualities under the instruction of Ms. Johnson. She taught me how to get along with others, overcome some obstacles, and resolve family issues. Even though Ms. Johnson is not my blood family, she is still family to me, and I would hate to lose her as a role model.
Thank you, Ms. Armstrong. Thank you very much, Ms. Armstrong. Thank you very much.
Brandon Johnson.
Please order, please. We have a long list of speakers. The way in which you express yourself is by signing up. Anybody in this audience can sign up in advance. We need to move on with the meeting. Next speaker.
Hello, my name is Brandon Johnson. I live on 373 South 19th Street. I'm an 8th grade student at Camden Middle, but believe me, I'm no angel at Camden Middle. Okay. I had made many trips to the SAC office, and they were not all good reasons. I was embarrassed when Ms. Johnson caught me smoking on the way to school. And she told me how my life would be shortened if I continue to smoke. I enjoy dancing, so I respect all the information that Ms. Johnson has shared about the harmful effects of tobacco and what it does to my body. My mother, who was a chain smoker since age 17, suffers from the long-term effects of smoking. Now she's recovering from open heart surgery, and this situation has made me learn the truth about tobacco. Ms. Johnson has left a positive impact on me, which have allowed me to make the positive choices about not smoking. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Shelley and Peters. Shelley? Petra Magum. Van Ness Roper. Come. Oh, yeah.
Good evening, Advisory Board members, Superintendent Janey. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to help answer Mr. Jackson's, some of his questions. Mr. Jackson and some of the other kids have talked about SAC teachers and guidance counselors and social workers. What the superintendent, and I'm not going to say the superintendent, but what the district really is doing is that this district is broken down to 4 groups of kids. Those who are advanced, those who are proficient, those who are below proficient, and those who have IPs or can't pass the test. And so what the district is now saying is that they're no longer going to cater to Group C or Group D who have behavior problems. And so therefore, he's taking the money, never mind that he's making $306,000, never mind that his academic specialist, and I don't know why folks would need her permission to do anything in this district in the first place, but never mind, she makes $280,000. But we're firing teachers and SAC teachers and guidance counselors and social workers who need their jobs just like you need your job. And the bottom line is, because people send me messages from the executive staff saying they don't like Mr. Roper. And I want to say to them, I don't care whether you like me or not, but you're going to respect my opinion, and you're going to respect me as a parent. And by the way, General Counsel, that's Minister Roper, so you need to get it right. Now, my problem is this. In the best interest of children, you asked that question. Are you going to do what's in the best interest of children? When you gave the money back to the state last year, was you doing what was in the best interest of children? When you gave your academic specialist and her assistant raises, was you doing what's in the best interest of children? And I'm going to say this on the record. I was asked 2 years ago, would I support this man? And I told those who asked me would I support him, I would never go on record because I called parents and executives in Washington, and I asked them what kind of superintendent he was, and they said, we ran him up out of here. And I would not go on record, but Dr. Janey, I tell you this, and I mean this with a passion. I will work hard until you retire or resign, and we're going to get you out of this district. You're not for the children. You're for yourself. You're bringing your people here from Washington who don't know what they're doing, and you're building basically a partially proficient district. Look at the high schools. I'm challenging all parents. This man is emptying the high schools. Those that can't pass the test, he's emptied. They were enrolled into this district, and somehow between Westside and Barrington and some of the other high schools, they are now missing. And I'm telling you the absolute truth, and guess what? He's trying to run a Blue Ribbon school by kicking our kids out of school. And I'm telling you the truth. My daughter's prom is on Thursday. But not only am I doing her prom, Dr. Janey, I'm having a clergy's meeting. And we're going to do petitions. The state, and I'm going to say this because my time is almost up. I spoke to a representative of the state. They said, if we want them out of here, do a petition and get them out of here. And so therefore, I'm going to start collecting my petitions on my daughter's prom to make sure that your 3 years don't become 4 or 5 years and get you and the rest of your people you brought up in here out of here. And parents, we can do it. This is our district, not those that come from Washington. And something's going to change, Dr. Janey, when you say you don't like parents, so therefore you won't respond to him. I look at you, don't even look at you as a man. I find you in contempt as a father and a human being for some of the stuff that I reported to you. And because people tell you not to respond to Mr. Roper, is my concerns are legit?
You know what? let me say this. Let me say this. You know, I'm a strong believer. The First Amendment to the United States Constitution is very important and articulates the principle that the public should be able to vigorously criticize those of us in positions of public responsibility. That's a very important principle. However, there's a way to talk to folks. There's a way to talk to folks, and it's called respect. And it's called respect. These are public servants. We need quiet in the audience right now. We need quiet. We have a meeting to run. I'll let you speak, and I will call security to escort you out. I'll let you speak. I need to speak now. We let you speak. I need to say something right now. We need to be able to have respect for one another. We have to learn how to speak to one another in a way that signals that we respect. We can disagree vehemently, and we should, because the future of the lives of these children is on the line. So if we have disagreements, absolutely we should raise them. But there's a way to do it with respect. Just like I'm sure you don't want to be talked to in a disrespectful manner, the people on this stage don't want to be talked to in that way either. And if we keep continuing to have outbursts, folks will be escorted out of this auditorium. So we need to maintain a sense of decency and respect in these meetings. Next speaker.
Lucius Jones.
Again, when folks want to speak publicly, you can sign up and you can express yourself. We need to have quiet so we can run this meeting. Please. Ms. Donna, one more outburst and I'm going to have to ask security to remove you. Please pipe down. You have an opportunity to respond if you signed up. Next speaker.
I begin by saying that, you know, we all have to learn how to get along, but in certain circumstances, Brother Shavar, this outburst of the people in this room are frustrated. They are frustrated, and I think that fire begets fire, and all it's going to mean is next month we're just going to fill the rolls up with more people just like us. So we got to be cautious on how we deal with things because there are people waiting in the trenches ready to join. I serve Lucius Jones, 224 Richelieu Terrace, Vice President of the West Ward United Parents Network. I said in the last meeting I served as the chair of the Newark Transition Coalition, something that I said in the last meeting that I'm embarrassed to say. We will be convening the Newark Transition Coalition with or without the Abbott Leadership Institute, in which they're good friends of mine, because the point is that there's a problem in this district. And we're going to begin with some basic problems. because I hope that the chair understands that we have to, when we clean one person's house, we got to clean up our own house too. The advisory board this year, so far, has eaten at every advisory board $400 worth of food, $400 to $500 worth of food. At your business meeting, you've eaten $100 to $200 worth of food. By the end of this year, you and the advisory board members would have eaten $6,000 worth of food, while the kids in the lunch in public schools or sometimes don't eat at all. That is a problem, Mr. Chair. Why are you guys eating so much? In addition, Mr. Chair, 5 years ago, the state did an audit and said that Newark spent $177,000 on cell phones. In this market, we all know that you can get Sprint, AT&T, you can get unlimited for like $60, $70. Why do board members have cell phones and they're calling their friends and all over this country on the district's dime? I ask that every board member give back their cell phone to the district, because I don't think that they're only doing the district's business. So when we talk about house cleaning, when we talk about cutting back, we have to say we have to start in our own front yard to make sure that we are cost cutting and making sure that we're making sure all the dollars that could go to kids go to kids. Let's move on to the superintendent. Sir, I know it's in your contract, but I can't understand why it is that the Newark Public Schools has to pay, I think, unless it's wrong, I know it was $2,500 to move you from New York to Newark. $2,500, sir. I could have moved you with a U-Haul truck for $500. Why does it cost so much to move you from New York to New Jersey, $2,500, and then you submit another reimbursement form for another $2,500 around about? So you get about $5,000 to a reimbursement, and those are on top of the $280,000 that you already received. My concern, and by the end of next year, you will be making not $306,000, $303,000. I ask you again, Mr. Superintendent, will you forget that extra $23,000 and leave it in the budget for kids? See, we need to ask these type of questions. If there's going to be a freeze on everything else, it needs to start at the top. Don't you agree? I would even go as far, Mr. Superintendent, as saying that in the interest of kids, maybe you should cut your budget, cut your salary by another 25%. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Two quick things. I will do this. We will develop a board policy on the usage of cell phones. I absolutely agree. The BlackBerries we have are for official business. They should never be used for personal purposes. We will develop a policy for that. And there's many governmental policies we can use. When I worked with the state, we had a cell phone usage policy. We should have the same thing. And we'll examine the food at the board meetings. I agree with you. Everybody has to cut back. And we will examine that, and we'll make adjustments.